Now, when you get to the age of 54, you sort of remember the past. Now, when I was a teenager, you would do anything to be able to study at Makerere University in Uganda with people like the young Mahmoud Mamdani. You would have given your eye teeth to go to Port Harcourt in Nigeria and be a student of Ali Mazrui, who is on our campus this week. You would have hitchhiked to the University of Dar es Salaam to be in a political science class of Issa Shivji. Those were the great scholars and the great institutions. So how did they all go downwards? Very simply. The political leadership, in the name of equity, in the name of anti-colonialism, started to dumb down those institutions so that no serious scholar in Ghana or the Ivory Coast or any of these places are to be found in those universities. They are found at Columbia, in New York. They are found at Oxford in England, but they are not found there. South Africa already has a number of universities that are not universities. Did you know that Medunsa has had less than 3 weeks of classes this year? These are the guys, by the way, that will be doing your open heart surgery. Okay? Why is there no crisis? Why is nobody shouting and saying this is unacceptable? Okay? The University of Zululand at the moment has an administrator for many reasons, one of which is people simply mass-printed graduation certificates and handed it out all over Richards Bay and Mpangeni and so on and so forth. Okay? That's what's happening in our university. How dare we? You see, the thing I keep telling audiences, especially when I talk to predominantly black audiences, the mistake we make is to think and allow us to think that standards is a white thing. This is not a political statement, but I miss Robert Sobukwe. I miss Steve Biko, because these were the black intelligentsia that said we will not take less in our education system. They struggled against great odds. And so I force my students now to read I Write What I Like. I force them to read, the biography of Robert Sobukwe, because unless they understand that the notion of having an Impashlele teach you literature, even though Wits treated him badly, of having a Chabani Mangani teach you, was an honor. These were people. We're doing a great teacher's book. Thank you for those of you who have contributed. I've never done so much editing in my life. Boy, South Africans write poorly. And it's because we think poorly, So I'm doing all of this editing and so on. You know what is really fascinating to me in the great teacher's book, of the hundreds of stories, is the number of black submitters, people who are writing stories about teachers, saying, you know what, when I was in school in the 1960s, the teachers showed up. The teachers cared. They went the extra mile. They were involved in sports. So this notion, I have a document on my desk, and I'm going to blow this thing wide open because there's a lot at stake here, from Umalusi. Umalusi, if you don't know it, is a quasi-political organization, apparently responsible for standards in our examination system. You know what they're proposing? Right on the last page of this thick document, just in case you get tired and you don't get there. What they're proposing is that we change the ratio of easy questions in mathematics to difficult questions, so that the majority of the questions are now easy questions, like a quarter times a half. I'm not talking about mathematical literacy. I'm talking about mathematics, okay? In the name of equity. This is dangerous. And you know for whom it's dangerous? Not for the kids at Parktown Boys, for black kids. So instead of getting our teaching right, because we're embarrassed every year by the results, let's lower the bar, lower the bar, lower the bar, lower the bar, in the name of equity. Before you know it, I'm telling you, the top black kids are going to be studying in other countries.